We have Miss Dixie D'Amelio in the house.
Pop star, TikTok queen.
What does she see as her legacy?
Oh gosh, probably the shaved head. I've kind of been talking about it recently. Should we get deep? I don't know. Okay.
I cry every week, so it's fine.
We have tissues right there for Alisha if you need them. Did you watch any OG YouTubers?
I was, yeah.
Ramble.
Pretty basic. This episode is presented by DoorDash. Use promo code PRETTYBASIC when you download the DoorDash app for 50% off up to a $20 value and $0 delivery fee. Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to Pretty Basic. I am your co-host, Alisha Marie.
And I am Remy Cruz.
And today we have a very exciting episode. We have Miss Dixie D'Amelio in the house, as well as Greg Goodfried.
Hi, guys.
Hey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us. Incredible set. It's
I was
amazing.
excited, but I think Greg's more excited than I am.
Accurate.
Accurate. I know this has been a lifelong dream of yours.
For real. Not even lying. No,
He's
you
the
guys are
star.
amazing.
He is the star. I
Cool
mean,
to be here.
obviously, Dixie needs no introduction. We know who Dixie is. Pop star, TikTok queen, everything of the sort. With Greg, just so you know, we give you credit wherever credit is due. Obviously, the first episode was pretty much devoted to you. Anytime we go on a podcast and they ask us, what is the origin of Pretty Basic? We give you your credit. Greg is the inventor / idea comer-upper of Pretty Basic.
Yeah, it was one of my crowning achievements.
I,
It was amazing.
you know,
That's
a
so
Webby
serious.
Award
One of
winning.
mine.
Yes, we are a Webby
I have
Award-winning
multiple
show.
crowning achievements,
Yes.
so
She
yeah,
leaves. She's like, okay, bye.
I'm done with this guy.
No, I'm
thank you
kidding.
for
But
being
yeah,
here
so
today.
anytime
Of
we've
course.
mentioned it on the pod where people are like, oh, how'd you come up with Pretty Basic, where to get started? Like, we honestly had no idea. And one day at dinner, Greg was like, hey, y'all should have a podcast.
Yeah.
And here we are, 4 seasons
The
later.
rest is history.
Hey, I was lucky to be, so I would literally go to dinner with you guys and I would sit there and one of you guys would tell a story, a dating story,
Usually
a friend
Remy.
story. And it was
Climbing the
usually-
wall. The
it
wall one was a good
It
one.
was Remy telling an amazing story. And then it was hype woman Alisha that was like, no way, no he didn't. You forgot the best part. And I'm like shoveling pasta in my mouth as I'm listening to this insane story. And yeah, I was driving home and I was like, podcast, like what if everybody could be me and be a fly on the wall to your guys' insane conversations? That would be really fun.
And here we are.
Webby Award winning.
There you go.
But
Very
so
happy for you guys.
you used to work with us on our team, was our agent, which is why he's here, because he
Yes.
came up with this. And now you guys work together.
Yeah.
So I'm actually really excited because I know you do a lot of like solo pods. Have you been on pods before?
Here and there, I've done like a couple,
Okay.
but this is definitely like, you know, the biggest and most glamorous I've been on. So
The
there's usually these
biggest.
like lame business podcasts that my mom watches. So, this one, I might
I'm
get
excited
views.
though because I feel like we have a lot of listeners who are either wanting to get into the space or just want to know more about it. So I just love when people can like learn from podcasts and stuff. So I would love to hear from you guys about all of that.
And obviously you worked with us before and now you are president of D'Amelio Enterprises. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we call it D'Amelio Entertainment now. But yeah,
Yes.
there
Okay.
you go. You
The
want to
name
like
changes all the
It
time.
does. It's, you know,
Last time I heard
we're
enterprises.
we're all evolving. I was a lawyer for like 2 seconds, and out of that, I started a content company. So,
No. YouTube first.
Oh,
so I did this thing called Lonely Girl 15.
Yes, thank you.
Which was very fun. So for all your listeners, if you're bored, like it's a rabbit hole you can go down. And from there, did a content company. I work with brands and celebrities and media companies. And then sold that company in like 2012 and became an agent at UTA. And you two were kind of two of my very first clients, which was really exciting to, you know, work with brands, licensing, kind of figure out strategy around how to take your star power and make it even bigger. And so I did that for about 7 years. And then in 2020, TikTok was kind of like bubbling up.
Yeah.
And end of 2019. And so I get a phone call out of the blue of like, hey, there's this D'Amelio family. Do you want to take a meeting with them? They were like, you got to fly to New York tomorrow and meet with them. And I'm like, all right, screw it. Jumped on a red eye, sat down with these guys. And I took my, you know, 15 years of experience of, you know, being a lawyer, being a content creator, being an agent, and pitch them on this, like, here's what we can do. This is a whole massive thing we can build out together.
I'm going to make you a star.
I'm gonna make you a big superstar. And it was funny, and I felt like good about myself, right? I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is kind of like, they were a big deal, and I was like, this, and everybody was trying to sign them. And so fly home the next day and get a phone call from these guys, and they're like, hey, like, we want you to be our agent. And I was like, cool, like, this is fantastic. I must have, you know, done something right. And so a month later, I'm now with the family sitting there, and I was like, so like, just like for my own knowledge and like ego, like, what was it? Like, what was it about me that was different than the other people? And she goes,
they brought snacks.
No. Oh my God, no.
That was my big aha moment. She's like, you brought us snacks. All the other people were boring, and Charlie and I
you
sat
kept
there.
laughing. I was like, I'm waiting to hear Dixie's side to this because this is
Greg's like, it's
hilarious.
That's how we
Right.
picked like all of the parts of our team. Like my PR person came to our house and brought us like New York bagels and stuff. Like everyone we went with because they brought us food. Wait, and okay, so I mean, at the time I was a senior in high school. I don't know. I've never even heard of an agency. Like I have no clue. I would just, you brought me food. I'm guessing you're cool. So that's like where we went with stuff.
You picked a good team though.
Yo,
off
you
of the
lucked
food.
out.
You really
Wait,
did.
what were the snacks?
I think I brought like cookies. We were in New York, so I definitely
I
brought
think it was like a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so here's what I say. We did like figure out what each of them like, and so we knew that obviously Charlie likes Dunkin'. We know she likes a little more Starbucks. We knew like the mom was plant based, and so we brought something for everyone.
Did your research?
And we did our research.
Wow.
That is
And
the
so,
funniest story. Do you guys talk about that ever? That's hilarious.
I mean, we go like
Internally, she makes fun of me.
anytime
Like, you think
someone
you're all
brings
smart.
food, we're like, oh, this is going to be a great meeting.
It is one of these absurd things
Yes,
where
the small
I
things.
had, it's the small things, right? So other people, I think, sat down with her and just like fed all this information, went crazy, and we brought snacks.
Holy shit.
That is hilarious.
And so
Yeah.
kind of
But
getting
it's
out of your own
true.
head and putting yourself into like, what are they experiencing? What are they going through? As opposed to like, what do I know?
For sure.
It's a powerful thing.
Putting yourself
Oh
in their shoes,
my
like they're
God.
probably exhausted, they're hungry, they just want a snack.
Hearing the
we
same
were going
thing
from
every
meeting
day.
to meeting.
Yeah,
and, like,
of course.
I didn't know what any of this was, but when we got the end of the day and we're at a meeting and there's food, I'm like, okay, this is nice. It just like brings the mood up.
Oh.
What was the family meeting like when you guys all came together after and you were like, I just want the ones who brought snacks? Were your parents like, yes, absolutely?
No, we all were kind of on the same
Everyone on the
page.
same page.
Like,
That's good.
Really, I mean, that's when we were going to LA and meeting with Snapchat and Instagram and like doing that whole round of introductions, and it was just so
It's all the same.
boring.
It's
kind
all
of.
the same,
Because
like schmoozing.
I'm like, it was just Charlie and I coming and doing all that. My parents would be home like, okay, you need to make it to Snapchat at this time or Instagram at this time. And we're like, we have no clue what we're doing. How, like, I literally have no idea. I'm going back and forth from LA on the weekend, then to school, and like, okay, whatever. And
Yeah, it was an insane time for sure.
But
And confusing. Like you guys got so much thrown at you at such a short period of time.
Yeah.
Charlie and Dixie like the snacks. I would hope Mark and Heidi like
Yeah.
a little more of the substance. Of, you know, we're going to protect your family and help you build this into a business. But the other big thing I said to them in the beginning was I was like, there's a million things you can do. Like you have all the options in the world. The most important thing is what you don't do. And you don't want to make huge mistakes. Like there's certain companies you don't want to work with. There's contracts you don't want to sign. There's people you don't want to necessarily associate yourself with. And so I think I took, again, a much more like protective role of the family in that moment because they literally could have done anything.
also, we never went with the option that was like, we're going to make you a star.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, you just know, like,
You hear horror
don't
stories.
trust that.
Yeah.
So whenever we'd go into a meeting, I can do this and this and this for you. I'm like, I don't believe that at all.
Totally. The like, under promise, over deliver, like part of life as well is like super key, especially if you are going to be somebody's representative. You don't want to make one promise that you then early on that you can't deliver, like you lose all the credibility.
Yeah.
And
But
the
also,
only thing
no
is
one thought
credibility.
this was going to go anywhere. So when we were in those meetings, they're like, oh, well, we could do this. But no one knew. No
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
knew at the time, like, where TikTok would go, especially before COVID.
I will say, like, other people I was meeting in the TikTok space were like, no, I'm going to be The Rock. And I was like, I don't think you're going to be The Rock. Like,
Have goals, that's good.
this TikTok was super cute. Like, you don't strike me as you're going to be on billboards and movies. And these guys were the opposite. They were just like, this could all go away tomorrow.
Wow,
Don't really know.
I
That's
love
why.
that.
That's why you guys are where you're at
Yeah.
now.
And it was mom and dad being like, so therefore, number one is we're going to keep the family together. And again, like all these like little micro choices of like, Dixie and Charlie could easily just move to LA
Yeah.
and could have gone and gotten an apartment or could have gone and stayed at some house. And they're like, no, we're going to do this
My
together.
dad is so smart. Like, I hate to say that, but every decision, we were like, Dad, please, like, we want to just do this. Come
Yeah.
on. He was like, no, don't think, like, just trust me. You're not doing that. Just wait. Every decision was right.
Yep.
Even like from a brand deal, they're like, that company it's not a good look. I'm sure it's like a nice amount of money and right. And this was like in the beginning, but in the future, if this were to go in another direction, like that's not going to look good working with them. I don't know.
No,
He was
for sure.
always very smart about
It's always hard when your parents are right. It's
I
always
know.
hard. You're like,
Right.
he's going to love that clip.
They're always right.
No, I laugh. I say like, if it was just Dixie and Charlie, like I would have been their agent forever and stayed at UTA.
Yeah.
But because of Mark and Heidi, I quit my job and went and worked with the family.
I remember the first time I heard that they were more of talent, and it kind of threw me off because I've really never seen that in the space. But then seeing how they've been with you guys, I think that has been so eye-opening, because there are so many kids who just get like screwed over in this industry. And I love that approach that they've done. Like I respect it so much.
The number one thing for them is the health and happiness of their kids. And there's obviously a laundry list of parents who the number one thing was like revenue and like, let's pull us out of something and make us a lot of money without, and being like, the kids will get over it. You know, they'll be fine in 5 years. Like we have the opposite situation. I'll have, you know, every 7 or 8 weeks, like I will have a week where it's just like, hey, like they're exhausted, or, you know, so we're doing a family trip and like all the stuff you have planned, cancel it. And you know, it's shitty phone calls for me for a couple of days.
But you can deal with
that's
that.
your job.
I've been doing that for a long time, right? We all have that. And it is honestly like a breath of fresh air and amazing to see parents like put their kids first in this insane opportunity.
Yeah.
Dixie and Charlie are very entrepreneurial, and they want to build this thing. So they buy in, but they have so much room and space to like grow.
So,
That's so great.
Back to when you're in those meetings for the first time and you're just like, who brought snacks, who didn't? What advice would you have for yourself now, for yourself then, who was having those meetings and like didn't know how to speak up or didn't know like your place and everything?
I feel like people loved us because we weren't trying to sell ourselves at all.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I don't, like this could go either. I'm in like I'm about to go to college. I have my whole life planned out. But if this happens, sure. Like I don't think I would change anything. I feel like it all went perfectly.
That's amazing.
You guys are authentically who you are.
For sure.
Can we talk about music?
Yes,
Hell
I
yeah.
would love.
Sure. Let's talk about music.
Well, no, how was touring? Like that
was
was
being
my
a pop
dream.
star,
Yeah, literally
truly.
my dream growing up. I would like practice in the fucking bedroom with, you know, a fake mic.
Hillary Duff. I like Hillary Duff.
Yes.
I mean, it feels like forever ago. It's so
Crazy.
weird because it's obviously so much fun being on stage and doing that. But the weirdest thing is like you have all these people yelling and like so much going on, lights, loud music, whatever. And then you go and sit in a hotel room by yourself. And it's like, oh.
Wow.
I mean, I think a lot of people talk about how like lonely it gets.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I'll be fine. And then by like in the middle of tour, I was like, yeah, this kind of sucks because I'm in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. I'm up. I have so much adrenaline. It's 2 a.m. I can't order food. Like we're in the middle of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, I wish I had a friend with me right now. So next time I will definitely bring a friend. But
Yeah.
the actual idea of performing is so much fun. It's just the afterward and like,
Well, I mean, the adrenaline.
Yeah, it just goes
Exactly.
all the way
But
down.
I was super
crashing.
proud of her. It was a crazy experience. And like we did 2 tours recently. So we did Jingle Ball, which was like 9 shows over like 15 days and like the biggest venues. And on the Hulu show, so season 2, the D'Amelio show.
Yeah,
Really
plug it.
Plug it.
there you go. Watch it, send in comments. The kind of the first episode is about her playing at the Forum. And so we're on a Zoom and we get basically our record labels like, hey, she has an opportunity to go play Jingle Ball. And I'm sitting next to her and I was like, she's never performed anywhere. Like she's done a little stuff in school, but she's not a performing, touring artist at the time. So I was like, Jingle Ball. And I'm like, isn't Jingle Ball like Madison Square Garden, the Forum? And like, yeah, it's like basketball
Your
arenas.
first performance ever being at the Forum.
Literally in my mind, I'm like, oh, she's not going to do it. And then she jumps in, she's like, I want to do it.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, you can pick like Dallas and Minnesota and go do those or whatever. And she's like, I want to do all of them. And I'm like, all of them. So she steps up. So we put her like in 2-month boot camp of like
2 weeks.
Well, we leading up to that though, we had vocal lessons. We had like all this experience of like practicing. We put you on stage for 2 weeks every day, all day.
Wow.
And then
Oh my God.
basically her second real show ever was at the Forum in front of 20,000 people. And then 5 days or 6 days before that show, because it's Jingle Ball, it's all the various artists, we get the set list and it gets emailed to me and it's like set list for the Forum and I click open and I look at her name and she's number 2 of like the 10 people and I look at number 1 and it's BTS.
I remember
yeah,
this.
you found
That's you opened for BTS.
and I was like, no, BTS
not
opened
say
for her.
it.
No.
No.
Oh my god.
No,
Oh my god. I
BTS
thought it went like backwards.
Dixie
Oh
played
my
after
God.
BTS, and I knew like I know the music industry, and I was like, we're going to be walking in there, and it's going to sound like a
It's-
hurricane is going on.
We experienced that for the first time. I forget what award
It was
show
the Billboard
was.
Music Awards before they were even like at the level that they're at now.
Yes, and I'd never experienced an auditorium. And this was an award show, not
Yeah.
even a concert.
Totally.
It was you know,
It's deafening.
they would say Ariana Grande, the crowd would scream. Justin Bieber, crowd would. BTS, like we all were like staring at each other. I was like, what is this? This is amazing.
Okay, so I think that's when they had like multiple nights at the Forum, and so most of the people in the audience went to those the BTS concerts before.
My mom, yes.
So everyone had like their lights that they were holding
Yes,
up. Like everyone there
balls.
was a BTS fan, and so I'm going on. I see them walk off, and I go on, and I'm like watching everyone like go take their bathroom break, and I'm like, you know what? This is fine. I'm good.
It wasn't that like 5% of people. It was packed and it was
No,
amazing.
but you're
And she
hyper aware
killed
of that
it.
stuff.
Like, oh
Of
my God,
course, yeah.
everyone's leaving. But it was definitely,
This
I mean,
is-
that's how you get the
All right, another thing
nerves
you learn in
out.
life is you are your own worst critic. And
Yes.
you're your own hardest critic. And this is exhibit A. Listen, you guys were tough on yourself early days of like, you know, how's my content and how am I performing with this brand? So I do think, I don't know if you ever escaped that. I'm sure
No.
you guys, right? I mean, how do you guys
Sorry,
feel? Are
no.
you guys still, do you feel your own toughest critic?
No, I feel like I just don't really care about anything ever, which is so bad.
We're
but
very
I'm
different.
You guys
I'm
are
very
very
lax.
different. Yeah, 100%.
Wouldn't you say so? I'm pretty chill.
And how are you?
You're nodding, yeah.
Do you feel like you're tough on yourself still?
Yeah, but I think it's just a personality thing. Like, I don't think I would think the exact same thing. And then I would think, oh my God, next time I'm at a concert, I don't want like, you never
Yeah.
think from their perspective what it's like. But when you're on stage and people are like talking or leaving or something, like, there's no way to not take that personal, but you're not supposed to. Like, obviously, it's just how it is.
For you
Alright,
to
you
even
guys-
go out though.
Oh my God, I could never.
That's seriously, like, I would never be
Literally,
able to.
So you said you wanted to do all of them. Like, what was your, like, the process behind that?
I mean, I wanted to perform at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it was so much fun. I was the only one. It was me and
Tate.
Bozzy.
Oh, you and Bozzy.
We're the
Oh,
only two that
fun.
made it through the whole tour without getting COVID.
Oh my
Everyone
God.
was just like dropping and dropping and dropping. And then they ended up having to cancel the Florida show. We sent like my whole band and all the dancers home because everyone, if you tested positive for COVID, you couldn't go home, and no one wanted to spend Christmas like in a random place. So it was just me and my guitarist.
insane.
The night before the show, we did a whole acoustic set that we were just going to go on stage and do. And then
Wait,
it
so you
ended up
sent them
getting
home
canceled.
so they could be with
Yeah,
because
so they
family
wouldn't
for
get stuck
Christmas.
somewhere.
The show is like December 18th, and if you test positive there, mandatory 10-day quarantine.
Yeah.
And so you
You're
would have missed
screwed.
Christmas, and it was
Wait, I
we
love
were-
that you
we
did
were-
that though.
I love an acoustic set though.
Same
It was,
thing.
was
I know,
beautiful.
I'm sad I never got to do it, but
Oh my
Oh, because it got canceled.
because it got
Oh,
canceled. But I'd say
well, feel free to do one here.
yeah, I would love to see. I would love. That'd be great.
I'll practice guitar. You can have the tambourine.
I can do a triangle. How was the Big Time Rush tour though? That's so fun. I love
it
the Big
was
Time Rush.
fun. But it was one of those things like I didn't get to hang out with them until the last show.
Why?
Because COVID.
Because we were just moving so fast, and they were on buses, and we were staying in hotels and then Sprinter vans. So
Okay.
we would stay the night at the place and then leave in the morning, where they would just go right after the show. So the last night we all hung out and I was like, oh, I wish we did this because this is so much fun.
Yeah.
And they're all so sweet, and their fans were pretty nice, which I was scared of because I wasn't sure. But everyone was really supportive. It was a good time.
They have amazing fans too.
Yeah,
I
I mean-
wasn't like super familiar with them. She's a fan from like, you know, watching the show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
But talk about screaming, enthusiastic people.
No, it was a great show.
Oh my God, yay.
She has obviously a level of, you know, fame and following in the social media world, but that doesn't immediately translate over into music, right? So different things you do. And we were talking about it and I was like, you build one fan at a time. Like one person shows up at that show and was on the fence or didn't really know Dixie and her music. And by the end of the show, they're like bopping their head and doing it. And like, I became a fan, and like, that's what she did. She went out there each night and like won one fan at a time. And I think for people on YouTube, I think for people starting their music career, like we live in this crazy world where young people are like, I'm going to go viral. And overnight,
Yeah.
I'm going to have 1 million followers and 10 million views because that's what they learn.
Well,
But
they're trying to be.
they're trying to be
them.
that. They're trying to be like all these things you see. And 20 years ago, a person, if they wanted to be a singer-songwriter, they're going to a coffee shop and they're setting up a stool and they're sitting with a guitar and they're winning one fan. And if
Yeah.
you're a comedian, you're winning one fan. And I do think people need to get that back in their head, even on social media, like one fan at a time, one stream at a time.
Every time I hear like an artist sold X amount of copies, it always sounds, I think just because of social media, my brain is just a little fucked up now. I'm always like, that's not that much. But really, in
Yeah,
the
I
music
don't-
industry, it's different.
Like 1 million copies of something. Because now,
It's all confusing, and the streaming stuff, they convert streaming stuff into like record sales just to be able to have a formula where Spotify can pay out and Apple can pay out.
Yeah.
And it's all confusing. Playlisting is such a new part of the game now where like, you know, it used to be radio, now it's playlisting, but how many people on the playlisting are just like letting a song play versus like choosing the song? It's kind of confusing.
I always think of when Justin Bieber asks people to stream it all night long, like at a really low volume. He's like, just play it.
Literally.
But does that
like,
count?
100% it counts.
Oh, it counts. Okay.
There's like weird, you put it in a playlist, but you have to put other songs, and then I don't get how streaming works. I think it's 30 seconds of the song for it to count as a stream.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
But then you have to have like 1,000 streams counts as like a sale of a single, like a 99-cent sale on iTunes, which is what it used to be. And even going back to like going into Tower Records and stuff and actually buying it has to equate to like a certain volume of streams.
It makes
go
sense
it's
though, because
all
I mean,
it's very confusing.
Like when you would buy a CD or an album and you'd listen to like that is so different than just like hearing a song once.
You pay $13 for a CD, and then you'd listen to that song 500 times.
Yeah.
Now we live in this world where that would be 500 streams, but does that equate to? It's all a little.
And those
jumbled.
are the diehard fans. Like when you think of like how many times I listened to the Hilary Duff Metamorphosis album, you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
that. I like that idea of thinking back to like how people had to grow organically years ago versus just.
And you guys are music people. Like literally, go to the Wiltern, go to the Ford. Every single night, there's some artist they're playing that isn't Post Malone, right? That is somebody that has this nice core group of people, and they might not have put out a song in the last 10 years, but it doesn't matter. They have their tribe of people that follow them.
Yeah.
That's like all, and that's honestly more important than a hot new artist that hits a song on TikTok, goes and gets 1 million followers and 100 million streams, but doesn't really have a music following. When I was signing talent like you guys, I would get approached by people who might have had 10 million subscribers, 20 million subscribers, but they didn't have that much a connection with them versus somebody that might have had 1 million subscribers and gets 300,000 views per video, but all 300,000 of those people will buy their lipstick, will, show up at a live event. And I was like, oh, those are the people.
Yeah.
I think that's like super connected to your audience is more important than the crazy numbers.
Well, thank you, Greg. We're gonna kick you out because we want to have some girl talk right now.
Understandable.
But we really wanted to have you on because obviously you were one of the founders of Pretty Basic, and now you work with Dixie. So we just thought it'd be fun for hopefully someone learned something.
I learned a lot.
From this.
I learned a lot. I always learn a lot listening to you.
Awesome. And I'm so proud of you guys. Like, this is amazing. Your guys' career is amazing, and kind of how you treat each other, how you treat your fans, how you treat every person I know. I am super, super proud of you guys.
Thank you.
We
try. Thanks so much.
And you too.
Thanks.
Dixie's giggly. I like how giggly she is.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, Halloween is coming up, and every single year I forget to get candy for the trick-or-treaters. But guess what? We're thinking ahead this year. I already have a few of my Halloween costumes on lock. So this year we are planning ahead. And one thing you can always count on is DoorDash, because they can be there for those last-minute candy trick-or-treaters. Maybe you also need some drinks for a costume party or something. DoorDash has you covered. You can get all of your Halloween sweets, treats, and supplies all in one place, delivered directly to your door with DoorDash. And with DoorDash, you're not just getting the things you love, but supporting the community you love too. From the stores and restaurants to the Dashers driving around, each purchase provides a new opportunity for someone involved, because with DoorDash, there's a neighborhood of good in every order. So for a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off up to a $20 value and $0 delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app and enter code PRETTYBASIC. That's 50% off up to a $20 value and $0 delivery fees when you download the DoorDash app in the App Store and enter code Pretty Basic. Don't forget, that's code Pretty Basic for 50% off, up to a $20 value and $0 delivery fees with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply.
And we are back with Miss Dixie.
Hey.
So we have some questions that we had everybody on Instagram ask you, and we're gonna just ask away. I have no idea what the questions are, so this will be fun for all of us.
Wait, imagine if we did this. This question, we're like,
did you watch any OG YouTubers? Did you really grow up watching any OG YouTubers though?
Yes. Have watched your videos. Okay.
She's a Alisha fan. Alisha,
did you go to Girls Night In? Oh no, she didn't. Okay. I was gonna give you your money back.
You pull out $20.
I watched Bethany Moda.
Love.
My Life is Ava. It's so funny because I actually interviewed Bethany for something, and I was like, yeah, I got all my advice for school from you, and like now putting together now that I'm older, I'm like, she was homeschooled. Why was I literally? I'm like packing my lunches how she says. I'm like, wait a second. But I would watch them and then like clean my room or like, oh my God, yeah.
No, that's so funny because we had Ava on last week and we were saying how we like unintentionally glamorize like a morning routine for school with like putting our berries in water and like we didn't do that.
No one had lockers for DIY locker decor. Like, how did we acquire lockers to decorate for the videos? Like, no one had lockers.
Yeah. My mom was a teacher, so I just like went to the school, and I had graduated.
Teachers' lockers?
I just used the lockers.
Oh, no, it was all fraud.
But I did like purchase all those things for my lockers and the mirrors.
Did you do any DIYs?
I was, yeah.
Which one worked and which one didn't? I did a DIY chandelier, and I lived in a room with like like the popcorn ceiling, but I rented, so I couldn't like drill it in. So I used command strips to hang it for the video, and it kept falling, and I just had it stay for like maybe a 2-second clip, and I put it in slow mo. Like that was my worst DIY by far. Did you do any that actually worked?
It was a time. It was a time. But then, like, you guys would do, like, real day in the life or real morning routine, and it would be, like, looking all messy and not, like, and I'm like, okay. But I believed it all. I ate it all up, really.
I lived for the illusion.
I was a fan. Yeah.
Well, we apologize for those DIYs.
Compensation for those, too.
We really should. Okay, next question.
What made you want to shave your head?
What made you want to shave your head? I'm sure you've talked about this.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to. I just feel like I was getting past the point where I could do it because I've never had really long hair and I was trying to grow it out. But then I'm like, if it gets too long, I'm not going to want to shave it. So let me just do it now. But it grows so fast. It's already grown so much.
Well, now it's like a pixie versus like
it looks so good. Like your bone structure. Yeah. It's so good.
That's the weirdest hate I get. And like, I don't care about it because I'm like, guys, it's hair. Yeah. It grows back. But I'm like, she's so ugly now. I'm like, guys, so you're going to say I'm pretty again when it grows back in a couple months? Like, it's just so fun. Like that doesn't bother me because I'm like,
it also just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Exactly. It doesn't make sense.
But yeah, it's so easy too. Like getting ready. This took 2 minutes.
No, that's what I envy.
I know I need that.
Honestly. But I didn't I used to have really wavy hair and then bleached my hair, destroyed it, had to cut it really short, which I should have shaved my head then and just done it.
That would have been a good time to do it.
I was hoping, because I had extensions in and I knew my hair was fried, but I thought it was going to be a little shorter and I would have been just let me shave it then. But glad I did it. I'm probably going to bleach it. I did it and then I went into like a depression and I missed all of Fashion Week, but I had all these plans for it and now I'm like, oh, it's growing out.
I was wondering if you were going to do like a debut moment. Sore subject. We're not going to talk about it. It's fine.
No, I mean, the whole thing I did in New York was cool. And then I was going to go to London. That got canceled. So I guess I'll bleach it at some point. But I've done like one photo shoot with it. So, wow. But it also changed my face. I feel like it changed my facial features because I never thought I had
I agree. Your cheekbones.
That's what everyone says. I'm like, I've never noticed that about myself before. I thought I kind of like have soft, but I also think I learned how to like suck in my cheeks a little bit. So I'm like kind of doing it on purpose.
Are you going to keep it short? Are you going to keep cutting it? Or are we going to grow it out now?
I think I'm going to bleach it, cut it to get all that out and then grow it out.
Okay. I love it.
But it grows so fast that I think in a couple months
it'll be a bob real soon. That's insane.
Super
I love
cute.
It.
Okay.
Next question.
What did you want to be growing up?
I mean, I feel like that changed every week. Like I had all these ideas that just became unrealistic. And then when you get to high school, you're like, okay, I need to actually do something. So I was going to go to school for business management. I think it was my major. I don't know. They just like picked one on the application. I was like, okay. But probably something with fashion. My dad is in the clothing business. So he's like a sales rep for a sports apparel company. So I kind of wanted to do something like that. Yeah, I never really thought about it. I was just kind of going with the flow of life, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
But that's cool. You get to do pretty much everything that you've ever wanted to do. Singer, social tourist, all that business. Yeah. That's awesome.
Advice for someone entering their 20s from someone who is 20 and someone almost 30. I'm the almost 31. Me too. Yeah, you too.
I mean, I feel like I always say what helps me is remembering that no one knows what they're doing. Because I look at everyone, like they have this all figured out. Also, that no one really cares about you, and not in like a no one cares, but no one's thinking about it. Because I always overthink. I'm like, oh my gosh, this person is thinking about me. This person hates me. Like whatever. Knowing that no one, or just saying no one cares. No one is going home and thinking, oh my gosh, Dixie did this. That's helped me so much.
I obviously still struggle with those thoughts of like, what are people thinking or whatever, but I think I've given it less power the older that I get, because I'm just like, well, I can't change it. But yeah, when you actually have the mindset of, oh, like they don't care. No one gives a fuck. Like,
everyone has their own thing. Like no one cares. Yeah. Maybe it'll come up in a gossip between two friends, but whatever.
Yeah.
No one's like talking in a group chat for the most part.
Yeah.
Probably no
one.
Well,
if they are, it's
that's their own thing.
You don't need them in your life.
You can't worry about it.
I agree with that too. I feel like a big thing for me that I've grown up and realized is that everybody has no idea what they're doing. Like my parents, I feel like I used to be very hard on them, but I'm like, they don't know what they're doing.
That's their first time being parents. Yes,
it's weird. It's weird when you get to that point where you're like, oh, my parents like aren't that much older than
or like
me.
Their first time in their 50s, just like it's the first time in our late 20s, almost 30s. Like no one knows. Everyone's just trying to navigate, and I feel like that gives you a little bit more compassion for everybody around you. But it is hard.
Yeah, definitely.
Next,
slay.
What are you the proudest of with what's come of social media? That's a good question.
That's so hard. It's hard to say what you're proudest of when you're going through it.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of really cool experiences, but I don't know. I feel like I'm always just, I could have done better. I could be better, whatever. So I'm never like, oh, I'm so proud of myself that happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I feel like earlier what Greg was saying, that makes so much sense with your personality. But like from the outside, I would be like, oh my God, like going on tour, the forum, like that's something I
like
could,
younger me. I think younger me looking at it, I would have been, you performed at Madison Square Garden. That's the coolest thing ever. Like be proud. But now looking at it, like, oh my God, I'm never gonna do that again. No one's so.
Or you're like, I messed this note up. Or like, but be proud. Be proud.
I think just being like keeping up and being on social media, like it's hard watching season 1, obviously like dealing with mental health publicly and being so vulnerable. Like not a lot of people can do that. You should be very proud of yourself for that.
Yeah. I mean,
I know it doesn't feel like
it goes back and forth what I feel about it, and I've kind of been talking about it recently. Should we get deep? I don't know. Okay.
I cry every week, so it's fine.
Save tissues right there for Alisha if you need them.
So I recently got diagnosed with this thing called PMDD, with premenstrual dysphoric disorder or whatever, and I didn't realize how much that affected me. And in the first season of the show, I was in a full PMDD cycle, and watching him like, the things I'm saying, no one cares about me, I'm not worth anything. Like that's all the things it does to your mind. And once a month for about 2 weeks, I go into this dark spiral of like a depression. No one cares about me. I'm doing everything wrong. I hate everything. I'm not proud of myself, and cut everyone out. And this is like, a lot of people have this, but no one talks about it at all. It's hard to diagnose because first of all, everyone's like, oh, you're a girl, you have PMS. Like you're just in a bad mood. It changes my whole entire brain, and also I snap out of it so quickly. So I would be going through this, make an emergency therapy appointment, next day I'd be fine. I'm like, actually nothing's wrong. So it's so weird because I go so back and forth of talking about mental health because I'm like, oh, I'm fine, and then I go into a spiral of this. But I'm definitely still learning about it and want to share more things because no one is talking about it. I think a lot of people go through it. But it's not just PMS. It's I mean, the way people describe it is different. Also, there's not a ton of research on it or anything to do really. So I'm still figuring out.
When you were diagnosed, was it like a feeling of validation? Like, oh, it all makes sense. But then once you find out, you're like, okay, now it opens up all these other doors. Like, what did it feel like when they diagnosed you?
I mean, this happened like 2 weeks ago. Not even. So I'm kind of, now that I know, I'm just waiting for the next time, and it's frustrating. And there's some things you can do, but you never know what it's, because sometimes it's like one day, but this last time it was 2 weeks of really bad. And finally I'm like, I didn't want to admit that I thought it was my period, because it's like, oh, no one's gonna take that seriously. But it is like freeing knowing that other people deal with it. But at the same time, now it's like, I look back and, oh, that's why I can't keep a friendship or a relationship stable, because I'm so in and out of thinking the whole world is against me and having a normal brain where everything is like no, that's not true.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating
I'm sure.
and just weird. But now that I know and I get to that feeling, I'm like, no, don't go down this hole.
Yeah.
Like, or I'm going to try my best. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's going to be.
I think that's, I mean, I'm so sorry that you're going through that, but I'm sure it's nice also for everyone around you to now know also.
That helps you, because I think everyone just thought I was a bitch, and I'm like, no, I swear, I know this isn't me. I don't know why I'm so angry all the time and attacking people, because I don't, like, that's not what I feel, but it makes you so agitated and irritable, but
It's a hormone imbalance. Like, you
and
can't
especially now
control
that my family knows, because they were like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm being so mean.
Does it get worse with stress?
Oh yeah, I think anxiety really affects it, and also a lot of women with ADHD have it.
Interesting.
From what I've read, I don't know how that goes hand in hand. I don't know. There's not a lot of studies on it.
I feel like, though, because you have such a big platform and you're being so open, a lot more people are going to know, and I'm sure more studies will be held now. Because
I mean, it's great, especially for the people around you to know, and you can let them know. Kind of talking to people in my life, they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, how can I help?" And that's great. I don't think I could have people in my life who aren't going to be understanding about it. And also, it's just not fair to anyone. But no, I'm like doing my apology rounds, like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I've been going through this for years. It's high school. I'd break up with my high school boyfriend once a month, and
everything's making sense.
Yeah. It's odd.
I'm so sorry, but I love, this is so interesting to me, because again, like, I haven't really heard about it either, and I do feel like a lot of people like struggle with that.
Yeah. So I hope if someone can watch this and be like, oh wait, maybe that's what it is, because also a lot of people get misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder with it, because they'll go during one of the episodes and they're like, yeah, this is bipolar. Like when I went to a psychiatrist, and going through all the questions, they're like, yeah, we just need to rule out some things. I'm like, because it's so on and off, that's how you know it's not. And you just kind of track your cycle with it, I guess.
But it makes me think of all the people who are misdiagnosed and then put on the wrong medication, and then that's just a whole cycle of all of that.
I feel like you can't fix it and you're just stuck. But I'm just trying to obviously learn with other people, but it's good to know.
Yeah, it's hard when you can't trust your brain. Like, it's hard when you can't trust your feelings or your emotions.
And I journal a lot. I'll probably share what I write in it at some point, but you can tell when it starts and when it's over, because I have hope again. But it's so weird.
I'm glad you journaled, though, because I do think it's so important to get it out somehow. Even like, do you like songwriting?
I love it.
I feel like that's just fully.
I know. I'm so happy I've been writing it down, because now when I go back, I'm like, yeah, this is the thoughts I was having. Even though I might not feel like that right this second, it definitely goes very deep.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
Oh my God.
Whatever I do next.
Your vulnerability is amazing, though.
Thanks.
If you guys know me, you know there is nothing I love more than hosting, especially for a holiday. Nothing makes me happier. I love it so much. But as we all know, if you've ever hosted for a holiday, you know how crazy it can be, rushing around your house, trying to look good for guests, doing your hair, doing your makeup, getting the food ready, cleaning, everything like that. It's just so crazy, from getting out all the cooking and serving equipment that you need to picking out the right outfit for family get-togethers and more. Halloween is basically here, and the holidays don't stop sneaking up on us after that. And throughout it all, Macy's can be your one-stop shop for all things holiday season. From casserole dishes to scented candles, heavier clothes, and fall fashion trends, Macy's can help you whether it's a last-minute purchase or if you're looking to get ahead for holiday shopping. For me personally, I actually just got myself a crock pot, which I am so excited for all fall holiday meals and just like chilies and everything like that. It's going to be so amazing. So I'm so excited about it. So if you guys maybe want to get yourself a crock pot or just something to make the fall holidays a little bit better, check out Macy's.com. That's Macy's.com. All right, next one. How are you able to cope with the amounts of hate you are receiving? Sorry, another downer question.
I mean, again, it depends when it is. And now, like, knowing that, because sometimes I don't care, whatever, who cares? But when I get so emotional, and why I've, like, taking a relationship off the internet, because I was so unstable of my thoughts and feelings, I was like, I just can't have anything public because I don't know how I'm going to feel the next day. And now it's just in and out. Sometimes it could be nothing and it's the worst thing I've ever read, but then now if I saw something, I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
See, we were the opposite with our careers because I feel like because we grew so slowly over time, like we would get I remember like the first few times I got a hate comment, it like wrecked me. But I feel like you guys were thrown into it, so you had like thousands at once, where that's something we've never even experienced.
And TikTok is another level.
And TikTok, oh my God,
crazy
Because one
things.
thing goes viral, and it could be all the comments are going to be hate, and you're in a loop of just like going through and oh my gosh, this person said this about every single part of me, and I don't even look at YouTube comments, so I just try not to go into places where I'm like, ignorance is bliss about hate comments.
I mean, that's nice.
I years ago I like blacklisted any negative comment you could think on YouTube. And I remember like my friends being like, yeah, like, oh my God, I got this hate thing, whatever. Yeah, you, other people. And then it finally hit me because I was like, oh yeah, like I never get hate. And
I
I
was
was
like, no. I would go to her and I'd be like, I just got like this really mean comment. Like, I just feel like really sad. And she'd be like, people literally don't comment anything about me. And I was like, not what I want to hear right now.
But then I went to the review comment section and I was like, oh, I found it. And I was like, got it. So ignorance is bliss.
Yeah,
Ignorance
I
is
try
bliss.
so hard to not look at like the restricted messages on Instagram.
Yes.
Good call.
Because then I look, I'm like, oh my God. People are, oh my gosh. I won't even go too much into it because it's just, what?
Like,
What
how
do
do people think that?
It's outlandish. It's like, yeah, how did you get to that place to think to type that to me?
Or even about my friends, my best friend will send me, she was like, I just got this DM. And then like a DM defending me to her. And then I looked at the person and they're attacking me. I'm like, so who do you like? Because it's obviously not me or her. I'm
bored.
not sure. Oh my gosh.
You're like, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you, this is a random question, but like, how do you decide what you're going to share online and what you don't share online? Because you do share so much between the show and all of your channels and things. Like, do you have like a rule for what you do want to share and what you don't in general?
Again, everything's different of how I'm thinking of things. Like the reason took a relationship offline is because I was so unsure of a relationship, and we talk about it in the show, and it's very obvious that I like once a month I cut everyone off, and I'm not going to be like, the reason I don't say, oh, we broke up, because we're still talking. We just like weren't dating. And I don't know.
Like, it's so much more complicated.
Yeah. It's not a clean break.
We
so
do.
It's all
And people are like,
yeah.
you're lying. You're not being truthful or honest. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't know we're 21 years old. How can we, I don't know. I can't keep everyone updated. Oh, we broke up today. Oh, we got back together. Like, it's not.
It's weird when the audience feels like entitled to where they think they know you better than you, and you're like, I'm the one in this relationship.
You're also a real person going through a real relationship at the same time, which is complicated within itself.
And I hate when people are like, you're lying about it. I'm like, no, we just are going through life and trying to figure it out. And now that I know that it's not me that is so unsure of every decision I make, it's kind of my brain. It makes it so much easier. And now that I'm able to communicate it to everyone, we're all on the same page, and like, let's just put less online, because then you have to do less backtracking when you go through those phases.
Yeah. So. I respect that.
That's great to learn
I feel
about
like you're
yourself.
so much older than 21.
self-aware.
I'm like, oh shit.
So self-aware. Okay.
How's living with Charlie been?
It's been good. I haven't seen her. I basically only see her on Monday nights with Dancing with the Stars. She's been so busy.
She's been killing it.
She's so good.
The
Like-
Simpsons one? How did she do that with a wig? That tall.
That looked heavy.
That was
too.
crazy.
She came home the first night. I was like, my head is so sore from the wig because it was on so tight. But she's so fun to watch, and it's so entertaining. And my mom's been doing so good too.
So
I'm like,
well.
guys, I think I need to stop going to the show because I had a rash on my whole chest from scratching myself. I was so nervous.
Oh
But
my god, I could not imagine like if Ashley was doing like dancing with this, like what, or even you.
They're long shoot days too. I remember my mom went as like a guest years ago, and she was gone all day.
Yeah.
It's a long time for them and for the audience and everybody.
It's so stressful. But she's so good and so fun to watch, but they keep putting her last. I'm like, I can't do this. I just need to know her score so I can calm down. But
That's so cute.
She said, let's get them ratings. We want the views.
I just have to say, I have to stick up for her too. I remember when she got announced, everyone's like, she's a dancer, but she was trained in like technical dance. That is two completely different things.
Well,
like
also,
the foxtrot.
everyone's like, she's not talented. She's a TikTok dancer. And now she's too
Excuse me,
talented
dancer.
for dancing.
Yes, she can't win.
Oh my god.
But
I didn't think about that.
I read the comments, and it takes so much out of me to go after these people who are like, no, she shouldn't be on the show. I'm like, I don't want to start. Like, she's killing it. Everyone loves watching her. And also, everyone's so good. Like, no one is far behind each other. I'm watching people, and they're getting so good. And also, I know nothing about dance, so I'm like, oh, that was amazing. And then they get, like, a 6. I'm like, that was so wrong. That should have been
literally me. You were the one who brought it up to me. You're like, there's so many different ways to be trained in dancing and stuff. So I was like, oh, that makes sense to me, too.
For her to pick up like the quick step in a week, that's unheard of for anybody that's on the show. It's crazy.
She's also so hard on herself. So she gets, I hate seeing her stressed out about it, but I'm like, it looks really good to me. But I do say, I saw you stumbled on something.
You gotta keep her a little grounded.
Imagine afterwards you give her tips. You're like, yeah, actually, I was thinking your technique could have been a little better.
They gave you an 8. I would have given a 7. I guess they were being generous. Oh, man. Okay. What are some tips for managing so many projects and passions?
I just try to do things I like, and I'm interested in everything I do or hear about. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, let's do that. So I really try to not go crazy because I go all or nothing. Mm-hmm. I'll go into phases where I'll be in the studio for weeks and every night, or fashion stuff. It kind of just goes in and out where it's all one thing and then all another. Just try my best, I guess.
You're doing great, honestly.
I know,
you're doing great, sweetie. Okay.
Ooh, are you more like your mom or your dad?
I feel like I'm more like my dad in a lot of ways on how we think and how we get things done. I'm really close with both my parents, but when I'm going through something, that's kind of like work related or stress related, I'll go to my dad because he's logical and will help me talk through it. Where if I need some like emotional, just want to cry and don't want an answer, I'll go to my mom. But honestly, my dad's been getting better at like just listening and like, I don't need any advice. I just want to talk. I feel like I'm very similar to both of them.
Both of them?
Charlie too. We're both we have both of their traits.
That's so cute. All right. Was it hard transitioning from social media to music?
All happened so quickly. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, sure, I'll release a song, and then
it blew up.
I was like, okay, blew up. I don't know how this is supposed to go, but I was just kind of following all the motions of what my team is telling me to do. I've never saw it as a transition because I do both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just always had the understanding where people on TikTok follow me for my TikToks, not my music. So I cannot expect everyone to come over or a lot of people to come over to the music side because that's not why they followed me.
Oh my God. So many YouTubers are like, we're going to do music. And then like it doesn't work out because of the opposite thinking. I'm going to have this many.
That's not why they follow you. People follow you for certain things. And that's why, I mean, I even have fans who like, oh, I don't love this song, which I get because I don't love every song or everything someone does. Like I follow people for a reason.
Yeah.
And if they completely switch their entire brand to that and people don't like it or are like, that's not why I followed you, then, you know.
Yeah.
I don't see it as a transition. It's more like just an added thing for some people or new people or some people who already followed me.
I feel like this goes back to what you're saying about like not everyone knows what they're doing. Like from the outside in, it looks like there was this huge transition of you saying, now I'm going to do music, everyone like, but in reality it was like, let's just try this, see if it works.
Yeah. There's no major plan behind anything.
No evil mastermind.
Again, but I feel like that's why you keep on having success. You're just like, I'm going to try and see. And then it's that natural authenticity that like helps.
Well, because I've always done music, but I was like, I don't know if I want to get into all that. Like knowing that people don't follow me for that. Yeah. And I don't want to isolate a whole audience because I switched to do something new. Mm-hmm. And that's what happens a lot of time that I've seen watching people from YouTube or Vine or whatever. They try to do something completely different and quit social media. That's your audience.
Yes.
No one follows you for that. You can't, what are you doing?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So you just have to kind of find a balance.
I love that because I think so many people kind of turn on the way that they grew or like they, you know, they'll talk down on certain apps that they grew on.
No, I'm a TikToker. Like I know that.
But I love that you can acknowge, no, I came from that. Like that's my audience.
The hand that feeds you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good perspective. I love that. Okay. What inspired you to get into music?
So I started singing was really young. I was part of like a vocal group in Connecticut. Probably Taylor Swift had a lot to do. I remember I like was trying to do the vocal lessons and part of the vocal group and learn how to play guitar, and all we were doing was like the Taylor Swift album, Taylor Swift songs, and really loved her. But it was kind of just always a part of my life. I have, on my mom's side of the family, my uncle's a singer, my dad's side of the family, cousin's a singer, just kind of, my parents are always playing music. It was always a part of my life. So it was, I don't know, it wasn't like, I want to be like this person. It was just, I love music, I love singing, and yeah.
I love that.
It's a music family. You guys are both music family. I can't carry a tune. Okay.
Yeah, you can, especially when you're drunk.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd say that. Okay. With the fame, can you sometimes get out of touch with reality? I know it from us. I know it's your question, but it doesn't seem like it.
But going back to what we were talking about before, sometimes when I'm like, everyone's thinking about me, I need to get out of my head when I'm like, everyone's talking about me. I do say all the time, everyone's so obsessed with me, as a joke.
Oh my God, my humor is so conceited sounding, and there's times where I'm like, I gotta watch what I say because people are not gonna realize I'm being hilarious.
I'm being hilarious.
Guys, no, I'm the funniest
I'm
person
the funniest
ever.
person. Everyone loves me.
No, that's how Charlie and I talk all the time. We'll go in between from like, I'm so stupid, I hate myself, too. Everyone's in love with me. It's so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
But I do think sometimes, especially when you're getting a lot of hate or going through something, you're like, everyone is thinking that way. Honestly, people don't really care that much they're writing their comment and moving on and forgetting about you. No one cares about you.
They also like don't think you see it, especially when they talk in third person. Like
my cousin took my dog took my phone. Oh
my God, that's happened a few times where like if you were like replying to a hate comment and then they'll reply like, sorry, that was my sister, she stole it. And I was like, yeah, right.
And also I look at it like, oh, they're probably young and probably just don't know any better. I mean, I try to give everyone grace. And also, if someone is commenting something, they're probably going through something themselves. Yeah. At the beginning, it would really affect me where I'd be like, F you, or go after someone. And now I'm like, they probably need the attention and the responses. So it's just, I don't know. I just try to give everyone grace.
Yeah.
Have you had this perspective since you initially started social media, or has it taken you like a little while to get to this place? Because I've been doing it for 10 years and I'm not even there yet. Still, I'm working on it, but you have such a great viewpoint of everything.
I definitely go in and out of this feeling where again, it really affects me. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, people are probably need help themselves. Again, realizing that no one knows what they're doing has helped so much in every part of my life.
Damn.
That's great. I've learned a lot already in this episode.
Love it so much.
Okay, is this the last one? I think this is last.
What does she see as her legacy? I just thought of Hamilton.
Don't get her started.
I don't know. I mean,
what do you want to be known as?
TikToker. I feel like everyone's gonna remember a certain part of you differently, especially with how fast social media is now. People could have watched me a lot in 2020 and sees me as that person, and I could have not been on their For You page since. Like, I think the perspective on people is so different now, because I feel like for you guys, your fans who are watching your YouTube videos, they see like all of those. Where on TikTok, it's like, oh, if it comes up, not many people go to your page to go check out a new video. Yeah. They're just like, see it on the For You page and then forget about it until the next time. So I don't know. I don't know what I see as my legacy. I feel like I just hope as many good impressions as I can.
Yeah. What's the feeling that you want to leave people with?
I think just knowing that they witnessed the most beautiful, funniest person they've ever seen. And just really humble, you know? Yeah. I don't know. I probably have that. I'm like, I hope everyone just remembers how beautiful and perfect I am.
How smooth your head is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, probably the shaved head.
Well, thank you so much for coming on Pretty Basic. This was so much fun.
Yes. Is there anything you want to plug? I know the season 2.
Yeah. All that. A lot of stuff going on. I'm so bad at plugging things. Okay. Hulu season 2. Go watch Dancing with the Stars every Monday. Vote for my mom and sister. Yeah, that's it. I think. For now.
And your TikTok.
Yeah,
Obviously,
go
you're a
follow me on
TikToker.
TikTok. My Spotify.
Have have it on repeat.
Yeah, put it on low.
Yeah, really
all
low.
night.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for coming on. Thank you, Greg. So nice to see you. Thank you guys for watching Pretty Basic. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Love you.